Hey guys, it is Conte here, playing Sonic Riders, and I thought I'd add a suggestion. I thought I'd add a little variety by checking out some of the gear. So, there's a shop you can go to, and you can buy certain gear, like, I'll pay for a bunch of them here, like, which gear do you want to buy? I'll have the High Booster, which is astounding boost ability, the Auto Slider. Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of go down the line and see what stuff I can buy and then check out some of the gear. Accelerator. So if you want to get good gear, you do have to have... if you want to get better gear, you may have to have, like, a certain discretion on what gear you want to buy. Let's see, is there anything else? Darn it. So that's all the gear I can afford for now, so I'm going to... So I'm actually going to go back and try some of them out. So, like, as a standard for comparison, I think using different characters gives the gear different abilities. Like, Sonic has a higher high speed, Tails has more acceleration, and Knuckles has more power, so it's kind of good to compare with... to use a character as a standard for comparison. So the first one up is the High Booster. If you've seen me do the missions already, you know what the High Booster does, but I'll give it a bit more. I'll give it a showing here too. Unfortunately, it's not one of the best gear because I'll show you why in a second. In the description, you know it says astounding boost ability, and while you can... But the problem is, with that boosting ability, it also takes a lot of air to get that much boosting power. So unfortunately, I can't really boost to win. Boosting is kind of important, so in this game, so this isn't exactly the best. The problem is if you boost one time, then you're gonna be in the caution zone with your air. So doing stuff like doing tricks is a must. So I think, yeah, its speed is a bit slower too. Normally, like with the Blue Star, Sonic's speed is 162 speed, but this reduces it to 157 speed. So actually, I'm gonna see... You can actually almost go to 300 speed on level number... in level 2, so that's good. So, yeah, that is awesome that is awesome boosting ability, but it does come at the sacrifice of air. Because being able to boost at 350 speed is nice, but I mean, it really does get you going. Like, you can definitely notice that there is a big difference in how fast you go. But even so, I can't really recommend this gear to everyone because it uses a lot of air, so this is one of those gear you have to use at your own discretion. But if you use it right, you can improve your times. Okay, let's see what's next. We have the auto slider.
All right, bring it on.
The countdown has begun.
All right, bring it on.
So, the auto slider doesn't have a lot of main features except hold on a second. Well, that was really bad. So this gear doesn't have much of a technical advantage, but the advantage is, like, it's more of a beginner type gear because if you turn enough, then the gear will start to use the drift without you having to press the drift key. Okay, don't ask me how on earth that happened. Problem is, this is not one of my better races. So, basically, having the ability is somewhat helpful for turns, but, like, for tight turns, it's nicer to be able to control the turns manually. And the thing is, if you turn for, if you have the gear turn, it literally takes a second for it to start drifting, but it is still kind of nice to be able to slide in an instant sometimes, like on those tight turns. Honestly, this gear is kind of meh. There's not much of advantage to it besides its ability to automatically air slide. Its speed is slightly slower too, so that's another. Its speed is slightly slower too because it's 175 speed, so that's not really the fastest thing. Like, I thought the high booster was kind of bad, but after comparing it to this gear wasn't really that good either. Actually, the high booster was better. I think this one would be maybe okay for beginners, but other than that, I can't really recommend it. But anyway, we have the speed balancer. Oh joy, this gear. This is going to be one of those strange races. The thing is, as you saw, it has minimal power and it had zero cornering ability. I'll get to how that looks in a second. So, the maximum speed is... So, like, the maximum speed is okay, but you can barely turn with this thing. Ugh. So, it may be good on straight roads, but nothing more. Luckily, you can still account for your ability. You can still account for your ability to... for your inability to turn with the air slide, but other than that, it's kind of annoying. So So this is like Sonic's the speed balancer's turning rate, which isn't that much, but it's actually fun. It actually works pretty well if you can use. It actually works pretty well if you can use the air slide. But hold on. So, its speed is actually pretty good. You can get 177 speed, even though Sonic hasn't been like upgraded yet. Ooh. So that is actually good speed, but this gear actually might. This gear is like. I guess it's okay when you get used to it, but other than that, the name the description says it all. It's good for straight roads, but other than that, it's not recommended. The thing is, definitely do have to get used to the gear. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a picture of its maximum speed because I didn't level up to level 3, but that's the speed balancer for you. It is a bit of a clunky gear. So we already saw the Blue Star 2, but something we didn't see is the access.
All right, bring it on.
Actually, instead of doing it with Sonic, I'm gonna do it with Knuckles because Knuckles has a bit more of an... Knuckles and Fly-type characters have more advantage with Metal City, so I'm gonna use Knuckles. So the thing is, as the ratings imply, this gear isn't really that fast. But the advantage to it is that it allows characters that normally like power and speed that can't fly to fly, as well as do their regular things like destroying obstacles. But the thing is, you don't get as much. There is a catch because this gear is slower and it doesn't give you as much air from doing special things like that as you normally get. So your character type skills don't give you as much air to do. Oh boy. So this is an item we haven't really seen much of this item. Like, so its maximum speed is 155, but I think usually for Knuckles it's like 165, so not very impressive. If you look closely, it's boosting. Your boosting speed is reduced too, because as you see, you can only boost to 230 speed. So, yeah. I'm not too far off from one of my records. I know this isn't one of my best track records, but it is close. So this is an okay gear if you use it in the right way. So let's see what else we have. We have the beginner.
All right, bring it on.
You will take out the pack first.
the speed is reduced by 5 speed with Sonic. Normally, with the blue star, his level 1 speed is 162, but it's 157 speed here. So I think the thing behind the gear is that, as the ratings implied, it is a slower gear, so it's supposed to be easier for beginners to grasp. But there's nothing particularly wrong with this gear, but it's not really the best. Like the description says it all, it's good for beginners, but other than that, it's kind of meh. Hello. Ironically, I set a good drive record. So this is the Accelerator Gear, the key. It has an acceleration capability. It has a lot of acceleration capability, so what I'm gonna do to test it out is I'm actually gonna mess up on purpose. Well, yeah, that's actually not a bad acceleration. Like, yeah, it really is flying. That's actually like amazing speed to get turbulence. Fortunately, too bad I can't say the same thing for this gear's top speed. I think the thing is, acceleration is more important when you first start out the game because it's more of a recovery for when you have an accident. But as you get to know the game more, you don't really mess up as much, so it's not really necessary. Like here, it's actually not bad because you can get up to top speed if you mess up. So I think I think it's another one of those beginner type gears. Be close to my new record. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it, but definitely is close. So this is one... I think this... Well, actually, I was gonna go to the gear that was the faster, but I might as well check out the magic carpet.
This contest will kick off.
The magic carpet was the gear that you got at the end of the Babylon story. It was the one in the treasure chest that was guarded, that was in Babylon Garden. So it's definitely more of a flash. It's definitely looks like more of a flashy gear because it's got a wider stream of neon exhaust air, and it also makes a very pompous poof when you get on it.
Great job,
I mean, it's not the best of gear either, though. It's like, I'll see if I can, on a straightaway, I'll see what the max speed is. Like, but the thing is, it does retain your maximum speed, so that is good. So I know this gear does. It's not as good as accelerating and cornering, but that doesn't matter once you get used to the game, because like even if you mess up on tricks, you can boost to recover. It is. I mean, it'll likely be. Actually, I might be saying a new record if I could go fast enough. So anyway, I'm gonna try the faster, which, what it does, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm gonna see what the max speed is. Actually, that is a good speed. I can get at 182 speed without even having to level up, which is good. So, the thing is, this is actually one of those gear I would recommend if you do a time attack, because it is a faster gear, and speed is what you need to win. It is true that sometimes you need, that you do need... It is true that you may need things like speed, power, and like acceleration, power, and cornering, but I think those are more for beginners because, like I said, once you get used to this, it's not, you don't really need stuff. It's more that stuff, and it's more focused on speed and boosting speed. I think I'm about to set yet another record. So again, this is actually good gear for if you do time attack and stuff. So I think I'm gonna wrap up one more video, see if I have one more gear to look at, which is the power gear.
All right, bring it on.
Thing is, I'll have to find a good place to test this because I think using Metal City wasn't exactly a good choice, but there is a strip of terrain here, so I'm gonna see what his maximum speed is here. So, ooh, darn it. This isn't exactly good. So, I'm gonna... Seems that its top speed is 160 speed, so... It loses about 25 speed once you go on rough terrain. So... Let me check. This is... So if I can find a good straightaway, I'll see how fast he goes on level 3. If I could find a good play. If I could just, manage myself. So, with Sonic, it's like the same maximum speed you get from Sonic's regular Blue Star, but it's an extra kick because you got more power. So, and its speed is actually, so you lose like 35 speed in rough terrain. But honestly, I probably should have, if I were going to judge how good this thing was to other gear, I probably should have checked to see what other gear got when losing speed on a rough terrain, but... So actually, that is a drastic loss of speed. But still, that's quite a few gear covered. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, then remember to like, comment, subscribe, or if you didn't enjoy, feel free to dislike it and tell me what I could do better. I know I was kind of picky with the gear, but honestly, that's the way I am sometimes, because there's quite a few gear that aren't really that good, but there are still some good gear out there, and soon enough I'll figure out some more which gear is good and which one isn't. And I'll see you then.